One apple wobble apple, one wobble apple, 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 one apple wobble apple, one wobble apple.
Have you ever heard what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Or in this case, if you don't get it right the first time, you just try, and try again. Well, we are talking about Chille the law scholar here, who does not seem to learn from past mistakes. So, in the middle of getting spanked by the Nevada courts, both civilly and criminally, Chille decided, why not? Let's do it all over again. So today, February 15th, Chille managed to get himself arrested on similar charges as the last one. This time it was obstruction, providing a false ID to a police officer. In other words, he lied about who he was. In Nevada, when you lie about your name, your age, or if you refuse to provide information when you're legally required to, you can be charged with obstructing a police officer, which in Nevada is a misdemeanor offense that carries 6 months in jail or up to a $1,000 fine. If you physically do anything, the fines and jail times are doubled. In Nevada, you are required to provide your legal identification, not some name, being, or inanimate object you wish to be identified as. All Chille had to do was give his name, but for some reason, he decided to fuck around, and then he found out. Of course, this isn't the first time Chille has done this, and that'll show up in trial from his non-existent but rather kind of lengthy criminal record that he doesn't have. This arrest happened last night, so the body cam footage is still in the works, but we did find a few details, such as the case summary sheet, and even a bit of video. The video was shot by Chille, and I wouldn't bother showing it until we compare it to the body cam footage. Chille has previously edited or only shown the few parts that show him in the best possible light. So we best just wait for the body cam to show up, and let's see. The case file shows Chille was charged with a single count of obstructing an officer. Case number is 24-006842. So noon today was the probable cause hearing, and that's just when the officer would file a probable cause declaration with the court. So the court can review his statement and decide if there really is enough cause for the arrest. The court then dismisses or continues with the case, and the result today was an arraignment proceeding that was set for March 18th, 2024 at 1 p.m. So there was enough probable cause. At the arraignment, the court will then read out the formal charges to Chille, and yes, they still can add more charges, and Chille will probably plead, "Please unarrest me," or not guilty. Of course, Chille being Chille and never letting a good crisis go to waste, went right out today and tried to grift $5,000 from his followers on a live stream. Chille claimed he needed $1,000 for bail, but then states he put up his own money to avoid the wait for a judge to rule if he qualified for bail or release on his own recognizance. Yet the docs do not show any bail amount being set as of yet. Now it's funny how only a judge can rule on the bail amount or release someone on their own recognizance, but Chille never saw him but paid $1,000. Chille then asked for another $2,500 for a lawyer to represent him in a new federal civil rights lawsuit. And of course, Chille also needed another $402 to pay for the filing fee. Now, if you're already seeing a bit of a wee disconnect here in the grifting process, you were actually paying attention. As more information comes in, this may be the start of yet another beautiful $5 million relationship between Chille and the Nevada court system. As we all know, Nevada just loves to give away the cash. It should be interesting to see how he got his fees hurt this time. And surprisingly, it happened something like this. Chille was driving around last night, videotaping while driving, and yes, boys and girls, that is a ticket, ranging anywhere from $50 to $250 in Nevada. I wonder if the prosecutor will ever find out. When Chille suddenly drove into a taped-off crime scene area. Crime tape, aka cordon tape, as in cordon off, is used to seal off an active crime scene. In this case, it was a scene of a fatal car accident. These scenes are sealed to prevent contamination of any evidence by bystanders. While there may be cops hanging around all over seemingly doing nothing, the people that actually do the investigation may be on scene or they're on the way and have requested the scene be sealed off. Think CIS or detectives or forensic accidents specialists. These are the people that do this. Usually when they do, there's some question of what happened, what the cause was, and these need to be investigated. It can end up as simply as it was just a bad accident, or it could have been something caused by something or someone, and they need to find out. The last thing they need is someone wandering around, picking up disturbing or contaminating evidence, and possibly letting someone get away with a crime as a result of that. Remember, this is a fatal car accident. Someone died. It wasn't a TV set. It wasn't a TV show. It's real life. So Chille wandered around and crossed the tape line and eventually ran into a group of officers who then asked him if he needed help and what he was doing there. Chille, being Chille, immediately smarted off instead of having a conversation with the cops to find out any information. He pulls the First Amendment rights and claims yet again to be a member of the press. And I always find it funny how the real press covers a story but doesn't consistently get involved every single time. Of course, Chille just insults and tries to talk over the cops when asked for his press ID, and then his personal ID when he refused to show that. When one of the cops comes up to Chille and gives Chille a lawful order to move back, Chille pulls out the name and badge number routine in order to be able to file his new multi-million lawsuit, because at that time he was so hurt. Don't forget, to sue anyone, you need to show damage was done. Chille kind of drastically and consistently utterly fails to do that in every suit so far. But Chille evidently was so badly damaged by his 12-hour stay in jail because he claimed he was cold. Yep, that's definitely a $5 million win written all over it. Chille, of course, is going to write and file the suit this week, which is exactly 1 day left in it. So after 12 hours in jail and about the same amount of time to write it, this litigation should be fantastic. And now Chille, of course, expects some total idiot of a lawyer to pick up this dumpster fire of a civil rights case he will create, and is going to file and then have the lawyer finish it for him. Oh, I can't see any problems finding any number of lawyers who would want to pick up and run with someone else's trash. Well, I guess Chille just needs any excuse at all to grift that money from his followers. Chille also keeps spouting off in his typical non-sequitur case files in order to sound intelligent. That's a 1963 case where 187 black students' First Amendment rights were violated when they were arrested for peacefully marching in a protest. They were arrested after they failed to obey an order to disperse. The students were convicted of breach of the peace, and this was reaffirmed by the state court. The next part is the important bit. It was reviewed by the U.S. Supreme Court and overturned. Don't get too excited yet. It was overturned by the USSC because there was a complete lack of evidence. There was no evidence to show that they were disorderly. The law was written as considered vague, and there's no evidence that they did anything but peacefully protest. Don't forget, this was 1962 in the South. There were lots of protests going on, and some were not peaceful. It had then, and still really is now, little to do with a First Amendment violation, even though people like Chille still try to frame it as such. It also has no actual relevant connection to the events that occurred to Chille last night. Chille was not engaged in a peaceful protest. He violated a crime scene and obstructed a cop when lawfully ordered to move away or provide his identification. So of course, Chille is now busy editing, spinning, and grifting just as hard as he already can. So stay tuned. What could possibly go wrong?